everybody, it's JQ Crafty, and I forgot to do an intro. I like that I've been doing the intros like in real time and kind of explaining what I'm using, but apparently I did not do that. So right now you're watching me finish watercoloring. All I did was I have the Prima, I believe it's just like the basics, like the regular primary color Prima watercolors. I love it. I want to get like all of them, but that's just the craft hoarder in me. I don't watercolor all that often, and really the basics is enough. If I ever see more of them on sale, I may get them, especially the metallics, because that would be really fun. Anywho, so I'm just kind of finishing up. So what I did is this is a case of the Blahs, one of the papers from that collection from PinkFresh Studio. I didn't have a lot of 12 by 12s from that, and I do have the 6 by 6 paper pad from the case of the Blahs. I believe I got those in like a PinkFresh blind or grab bag or something for Black Friday a couple years ago. Anywho, so I went ahead and I gessoed the whole thing. I didn't gesso it the first time when I tested what I wanted to do, and so there is some warping. I'll discuss that later at the end. But I went ahead and I used some LA Studio stamps, and I stamped out the letters GAC, and then I watercolored them with the three watercolors, the colors I used, which is cool blue, blue, and green. And then actually I mixed the cool blue and the green together to make like a tealy-ish, different green, just so I had another little gradient. And I did that on the letters. I did almost like a gradient. But then on the background paper, I went ahead and just started watercoloring random triangles, squares, no pattern, no rhyme or reason, but just to create a fun background. So that's what I did. And honestly, that is the most impactful part of the entire page. And then the rest of it is not much. So I did all that. I did most of it off camera. I did gesso the paper that I stamped on first. What I did is I stamped and then I gessoed, because I'm pretty sure the black ink I used wasn't going to run, but I figure if I gessoed over it, that way I'd be super sure it wouldn't run or blend in. I just can't remember at the moment which one I grabbed. I'm pretty sure I grabbed my StazOn, which shouldn't, but I'm not sure. So that, and I couldn't remember after I stamped it either. I did this one kind of over a few days because the watercoloring, I only did it little bits at a time. So, yeah, I don't remember. So that's why I gessoed over it too, just because I was like, yeah, we're just going to do this. So right now what I did is I took a couple patterns from the 6 by 6 paper pad, this white and green, like it's got like a green scallop stripe. And I just cut it into little 1-inch strips, and I'm just going to go next to the photos with that, and then a thin strip of this pale blue just to make it stand off the page. And this is a relatively simple design. Like, this is a really good, easy go-to design that you can dress up, do whatever you want with. You stack your two photos. And it's one, honestly, I've been so, not necessarily caught up, but I've been doing all these other sketches and layouts, and sometimes it's like the most simple design and layout is sometimes the most fun, just because you're getting things done and you're focusing on the photos, and I don't know. So I really like the way this page turns out. Well, apparently I was looking through things. I don't know. Oh, I was watching YouTube. I was like, oh, I thought I cut some of that out. Maybe not. This process didn't turn out to be very long because I didn't do an intro, and yeah, it's relatively simple what I did. So now I'm going to wet glue everything. And I've got some Nuvo Deluxe because there is the warping right in the middle. And with the gesso and watercolor on the background, I want to make sure it's going to stay. So in the 6 by 6 paper pad, and I believe they have a 12 by 12 of this, but there is the little square cut apart. And there's some cute ones. I'm kind of mad I put the one on because I didn't want it to be... I didn't mean it to be what it said. So I cut up a few of them. The one is just some pattern ones to go with things. The other one's authentic. The other one's documenting the messy stuff because he's making GAC. If you didn't see that the letters were GAK, GAC. And basically Flossom is what, which I don't mean it flaws, but it's gross. So I don't know. That's the case of the blogs is all about documenting like the down stuff or the sad stuff in life and just making sure you document it. But so I did that, and then I'm popping up all those. So I kind of like glued all those little squares in clusters with some foam squares, and I popped them all up. And then I put the skinny Doris strips behind my letters and popping those up just because everything else is so flat. And then I kind of just dug through. This is like my stash of like random labels, stickers, all my fun LA Studio stuff that I love. And these random dots from, I don't even remember what they're from. I think I got them at Joann's though. They might be papery or something like that. But I just put green and blue one kind of scattered around in cluster. And then I did put a label down there on the left-hand side, and that's what I'm just going to put lots of fun things that they did at Summer Sack, which is school age care. So, and they made gack the one day. It's not slime, it's gack. Because it's thicker. But
all right. I am so sorry I didn't have like an intro video to this one. Normally the warping on a page doesn't bother me, but it warped in the worst spot. What I did is I tested out my watercolor before I gessoed it just to see what would happen. And of course it somehow got just saturated enough, even though this is really thick paper. So now it's got a warp. But after it sits in the page protector and stuff for a while, it won't matter. So, I hope you liked this. I didn't embellish a lot because I didn't think it needed it. But I'm going to trim off the top, I think, and the bottom just to even it out. Let me do that real quick. Make sure it's all even. Okay. So we got one more week with PinkFresh Studio and mixed media, and the last week is gonna be, I'm not looking, I promise, Nuvo. Okay, we can do that. We can handle that. We love Nuvo. So we are gonna use Nuvo next week. All right. Well, once again, you guys, thanks for watching today's episode of Product Focus Friday. I hope you are playing along or using up some stash items. And, yeah, we'll see you next week when we use Nuvo. Thanks. Bye.